so C, it looked like this. 1 plus 1 over x over top of x minus 1 over x. Is that what yours looks like? Yes? Okay, so I find this question is tricky because it has a fraction inside the numerator and a fraction inside the denominator. So it has fractions inside of fractions, which we don't do very often. So like I said, homework, there's only made a couple like that. Test, there will be no short answer like that. If I have one, it's probably in the multiple choice. Okay, so how this really works is you need to look at the numerator as being 1 plus 1 over x, okay? And then you have to look at the second piece as being in the denominator, so divided by x minus 1 over x. Okay? Now, if this set of brackets was a full fraction, and this set of brackets was a full fraction, then you would already know if you have fraction divided by fraction or rational expression divided by rational expression, you would change the division to be multiplication and you give the reciprocal of the second term. But you can't give the reciprocal of this because it's not one fraction. So you can't just do the reciprocal of each piece. It doesn't work like that. So what we have to do is we have to get this guy here to be an entire fraction and this guy here to be an entire fraction first. Okay, so what I do here is I pretend that this is over 1, and I pretend that one's over 1. So that I can see, okay, technically, within each set of my brackets, even though it didn't look like it, I really do have a fraction plus a fraction or a fraction minus a fraction. Okay, now when I go to do that, do these guys have common denominators here? No. What common denominator should I use? X, good. So this one should have an x over x. Same with over here. What common denominator should I use? This one's got an x, so this one needs an x over x as well being put with it. So now what I have is I have an x over x plus a 1 over x for my first set of brackets. Sorry, an x over x plus a 1 over x. My second set of brackets, I have an x squared over x minus a 1 over x. Okay, and now I can make one big fraction in the numerator, or one big fraction with each of my brackets. Okay, common denominators here, do you see that? So this is, we can add our numerators, x plus 1 all over an x. So now I have a single fraction. I don't have a fraction inside of a fraction, I have a single fraction. Okay, what about this guy over here? Well, add or subtract my numerators depending on what it says. Okay, so there's that fraction. X squared minus 1 over x. Okay. Now, instead of dividing by fractions, I can change it to be multiplying by the reciprocal. So the first one stays the same. The second one becomes x over x squared minus 1. Okay. And then this question is just like we were doing in 6.2, I think. Okay. Now I know I have brackets all the way around these, but my brackets could have looked like this now. Does that make sense? How my brackets can look like that? Does anybody see anything that would cancel? My x's would cancel? Good. Does anybody see anything else that would cancel? There is one more thing. What did I not do yet that I could do? I could factor that x squared minus 1. Okay, so x plus 1 over, what does this factor to be? Because that would be my denominator. This one goes to my numerator because I have my line extended out. It's difference of squares, so it'll be x plus 1 with an x minus 1. And the x plus 1 cancels. Okay, what's my final answer? It's not x minus 1. It is 1 over x minus 1. Because x minus 1 is left, but it's in the denominator. So it's 1 over x minus 1. And then x cannot be, so now this one's a weird one. This is super, super weird. We have to check a bunch of spots on this one. You go back up to the top. First of all, this x here cannot be 0. Agreed? This x here cannot be 0 because those are little fractions themselves. So x cannot equal 0 for sure. Okay? Then there's some other stuff when we start to look at things. Look at how we got our common denominators here. So there's where the x can't equal zeros went, okay? But then remember, you have to check after division, you check up here. Now I didn't factor up there, that's where I should have factored. What factors are up there would have been the x minus 1, the x plus 1. So the x's can't be plus or minus 1 because those are after division. Or you could look down here, it's because they were both right here. Okay? So x can't equal 0 or plus or minus 1. Again, I don't have very many like that. However, that's a really good question to do for 30-1. So we do lots of that kind of stuff in 30-1. Okay.